I thought both Tesla and SpaceX would fail at the beginning. You know?
You saw it?
Yeah,
So,
sure.
Really?
Of course.
But nevertheless, you put all your money in that, in both.
I expected to lose it. Well, technically, what I thought was, well, I'll take half the money from PayPal, and if I lose half of it, that's okay. But then, of course, the companies encounter difficulties, and then I have a choice of either let the company die or put, you know, all the money into the companies. And so I really didn't want the companies to die, so I put all the money in the companies.
Yeah.
And then I had to borrow money from friends to pay living expenses.
Yes. And what went through your mind at the end of 2008 when the fourth and the last rocket started? What were your thoughts at that time?
It was a terrible time.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything was going wrong at once. 3 rocket failures in a row in the beginning, and Tesla financing round was falling apart, or fell apart. The SolarCity was having difficulties, getting divorced.
Yeah.
It was really terrible.
Yeah.
So I was very sad.
But then everything was perfect.
Well, it took a while.
Was in space.
Yeah, at the end of 2008, the 4th launch worked,
Yes.
which is that was all the money we had, but nothing more. Yeah. In fact, originally I budgeted. I thought, okay, we can do survive 3 failures. So we just barely scraped together enough to do a 4th launch, and then at the end of 2008, we got a big NASA contract, literally on December 23rd, I think it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it went from really terrible to, I remember that Sunday before Christmas in 2008 thinking this is the closest I've ever come to a nervous breakdown. I never thought I would ever be someone who could have a nervous breakdown. And I didn't, but it was I could see it. I was within sight of it. It's like, this sucks. This is terrible. And then the next morning, NASA called and said that we'd won this $1.5 billion.
The next morning.
Yeah, the next morning. Literally, I was at home, and I thought they'd all gone home for the holidays. I didn't think that. I would have said there was no chance of a call a few days before Christmas. I thought people, be on vacation and that kind of thing. So,
1.5 billion.
Yeah.
So what went through your mind when they called you? What do you feel?
That was awesome. I was I actually said to the NASA guys that I love you. I don't think they've gotten that response before. So that was, the Monday morning, and then I think it was the Tuesday night or the Wednesday night was when we closed the financing round for Tesla, and that was 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve. It was the last hour of the last day when it was possible, and we would have gone bankrupt a few days after Christmas if that round had not closed. The ability to attract and motivate great people is critical to the success of a company, because a company is it's a group of people that are assembled to create a product or service. That's the purpose of a company. People sometimes forget this elementary truth, and so if you're able to get great people to join the company and work together towards a common goal, and you sort of have a relentless sense of perfection about that goal, then you will end up with a great product. And if you have a great product, lots of people will buy it, and then the company will be successful.
Yeah.
Starting a company is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. Okay, that's generally what happens, because when you first start a company, there's lots of optimism and things are great, and then so happiness at first is high. Then you encounter all sorts of issues, and happiness will steadily decline, and then you'll go through a whole world of hurt. And then eventually, if you succeed, and in most cases you will not succeed, and Tesla almost didn't succeed, came very close to failure. Then if you succeed, then after a long time you will finally get back to happiness. There are lots of people that said that the likelihood of failure was extremely high, and that it was a stupid thing to do. And when I started SpaceX, one of my closest friends got a compilation of rocket failures and made me watch the whole thing. And there were lots of people that tried to talk me out of it. And the joke was, how do you make a small fortune in the rocket business? Well, you start with a large one. And I got told that joke so many times that I obviously I knew the punchline, so I just tell them the punchline, and they would look at me like, "Is he serious?" Or it's like, say, "Why did you start a rocket company?" I was trying to figure out the fastest way to turn a large fortune into a small one. That seemed like a good way to go. But the thing is, I already thought the probability of failure was high, and that with that the likelihood of success was low. So this was not new information. I thought maybe SpaceX had, 10 or 20% chance of success, and Tesla probably similar. I thought SolarCity had a much higher chance of success, but probably still only 50% or something like that. I knew I wanted to be involved in technology, and in fact, the only reason I started a company back in '95, an internet company, was because I couldn't get it. There were only a few internet companies, and I couldn't get a job at any of them. So I tried to get a job at Netscape, and sent my resume in and tried hanging out in the lobby, but I was too shy to talk to anyone. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll have to start a company because I can't get a job anywhere. What's the difference between really believing in your ideals and sticking to them versus pursuing some unrealistic dream that doesn't actually have merit? And that is a really difficult thing to tell. Can you tell the difference between those two things?
Right.
So you need to be sort of very rigorous in your self-analysis. I think certainly extremely tenacious, and then just work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in 80 to 100 hour weeks every week. All those things improve the odds of success.
Okay.
I mean, if other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, then even if you're doing the same thing, you know that in 1 year you will achieve what they achieve. You will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year or two.